even though they were so much older.
Man, I'm so surprised. We'll get to some sound from Curry.
What are you surprised about?
Kerr. It's just, I didn't expect it. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm a sucker because they're champions and they've won championships. But,
I get it, yeah.
And I get the inconsistencies, but as they get healthy, I'm just like, all right, it's the New York Knicks. No OG Anunoby, no Julius Randle, no Mitchell Robinson. Come on here and beat this team up.
But at what point this year have they played like a 10-game sample where you're like, that's the champion Warriors?
In February, when they were 12-3.
Yeah, they had that 14-4 stretch right before that Boston game.
They blew out the Bucks, and they were healthy for the first time since November 28th, and we're thinking, it's go time.
That's true.
And then Curry gets hurt the next night, up 3 with 3:59 left in the game. And they lose Draymond to a back injury. Now he's back, but your backs are tricky. You got to get Andrew Wiggins. I don't know, man. I don't know. I
just feel like every time that I've wrapped both my arms around the Warriors, they've just completely let me down. And I feel like at this point, I'm the sucker for believing in them. And now I think I just need to completely lower my expectations so that anything I get will be considered optimism.
Yeah, well, as Robin said, Bruno said, the downfall is near and it's coming, and it's coming hard.
I don't want to hear that about the Warriors.
I don't want to hear that at all about the Warriors, man. But that quote can imply.
The downfall is near and it's coming hard.
I mean, here's Curry on the whole Warriors. They're 17-18 at home. We'll get to Verducci in just a second. We'll switch back over to Giants. Well, they're 17-18 at home.
That is just insane.
It's unusual. Obviously, I think we're under 500 at home. And that's been our staple. We're giving ourselves a little cushion every season for the last however long. So it's a challenge that we have to overcome at some point down the stretch of the season. And you understand, like, the best case scenario is to try to have home court in a play-in environment, or when you get into a series, have to win here and protect your home court, especially as a lower seed. So you got to correct whatever is ailing us. I think tonight was just a slow start. They know what happened in New York when we jumped out to whatever it was, 20-4 or whatever. So you knew they were going to come out strong. They did. We responded, just couldn't get over the hump. I think it was wire to wire for them, and that's the situation that we can't let happen on our home court.
So that's Curry. Here's GP2 on if he knows why the Warriors struggle at home.
No, it's just, you win some, you lose some. Like, it is what it is.
Very short. Very short and to the point, young Glove.
Okay.
Sitting on the podium yesterday, you like that?
Yeah, he sitting on the podium. He said, what's it called? That was wild. That was wild yesterday. GP2 after the game, in case everybody missed it, it's on our Twitter page at 95.7 The Game. He decides to sit on the dais board, basically on the dais, and is like, I'm tired of being normal. Talk to me.
That was a little odd to me.
Guess you got to switch it up, man.
The GP2 thing is kind of
a truly?
It's kind of a microcosm of the Warriors. Like, everybody was excited to get him back, and he's just been okay. I mean, he's a eighth guy on a good team. You know what I mean? He's a rotation piece. But on this team, it feels like a lot of the things he brings to the table as a defensive guy and as an energy guy are redundant to what other guys have on the team. And so you're not really helping that much because there are other guys in more prominent roles who are giving you similar attributes. And I think it's kind of it's a microcosm of where they're at right now. They have too many redundant parts that are one-way players.
Just 17-18 at home. You're right about that. And Pods just kind of followed into that trap. Right now, Pods, alongside Draymond Green, it does, obviously, the starting lineup has worked for the Golden State Warriors. But now you're getting to a point where you need one of those guys to hit shots. Like, the Lakers, for whatever reason, the Lakers played really up, and maybe it had to do with Anthony Davis being hurt after the first quarter, but they really pressed up on Draymond Green, allowed Draymond Green to have a couple fake dribble handoffs and get to the rim or throw that alley-oop on the 4-on-3. Tom Thibodeau was basically telling us, we're not guarding Draymond Green. He's going to have to hit shots. And it always comes back to that, whether it's Draymond or Brandon Podziemski, in the half court.
How many years in a row have we been saying that?
But seriously,
you're right.
They've got to hit shots.
You're right.
You got to wiggle. because they were suffocating Steph Curry, and Steph Curry had a solid night, not up to his standards. He still dropped 27, 5, and 5.
You think he's moving the same even after that?
Yeah, I think he's fine.
Okay.
When I was watching yesterday,
a lot. That's why I'm curious.
I was watching yesterday, it was like the Knicks were pressing him. They were pressing him off those screens or whatnot, and they were allowing, like Chris Paul was able to get going there, and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what, we got to make somebody else hit shots there. The Knicks forced the Warriors and forced guys to shoot that didn't really want to shoot. You know, and that's the next step for Brandon Podziemski as he goes into the offseason. And there's nothing, I got to say this, Podge should not hang his hat on this season or that game last night. He's exceeded all expectations for this season, contributing with championship-type players. To be able to mesh, it's not easy meshing with Dre, Steph, Clay, Steve Kerr, and whatnot. We know Steve Kerr doesn't like, you know, it's not that he doesn't like to play youngsters, but you have to win his trust over. The fact that Podge did that already says a lot about where Brandon Podziemski's at. But the next step for him is to hit that open three. Because teams are still going to say, you know what, you got to beat me from the outside. You got to hit a jumper. We're going to sit on your layup drives. We're going to sit on your drives to the basket. We're going to make you pound the basketball, which the Warriors do not want to do. They want to play 0.5 basketball. That's the next step for him, is to shoot the ball. But last night I saw TJD. There was a bright spot there. But pause, that's the next step for him.
It's not an indictment of these three, but I'm gonna identify them. If Kuminga, who's in his third season, but in many ways is not your average third-year player because he's even more raw than most of the prospects that are going to be coming out this year. Podziemski and Trayce Jackson-Davis, if those are three of your top 6 or 7 players, to me, like in the NBA, as we've heard from Don Nelson for years and years, rookies are getting you not very far in the grand scheme of where the NBA is at. Now they can be supplemental and they can help. To me, it's about the big dogs. And when I look at the big dogs right now, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph, CP3, Wiggins, I just think that collective isn't as good as what they need to be to get where they need to go.
The Andrew Wiggins thing is just...
It's it.
I heard Kareth yesterday in the post-game show basically said, you know, what happened to the 2022 Andrew Wiggins? And it's a question we've been asking all season long.
Well, that is the outlier.
And you know what? I thought coming into the season he was the most important player for the Golden State Warriors. And you know what? It's kind of playing out that, look, Kuminga's popped, and that's a great thing to go into the offseason with. Podziemski, I got a player in there. Now, I don't know what he is quite yet, but I got a player in there. I got a gamer. TJD, I got a gamer in this young man, 19-9, dunking hard, rolling to the rim. He was 9-9 last night. Quietly in the loss, TJD shined out here. Trayce Jackson-Davis.
How many assists from Klay specifically?
I don't know, probably like 5, but Klay had 8 assists overall.
Klay's been good.
Trayce Jackson-Davis is the 8th Warrior in the shot clock era to go 9 for 9 or better from the field in a game, and the second to do so this season. Tom Bashiri, Rod Williams, Lester Connor, Chris Mullin, Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga, and now Trayce Jackson-Davis. He's the first rookie in the shot clock era to go 9-9 better from the field in a game. Over the last 15 years, you had Derek Lively the second for Dallas doing. Derek Collison did it for the Pelicans back in 2010. Jonas Jerebko did it for the Pistons back in 2010. Former Warrior, of course. And Trayce Jackson-Davis has done it again. So what a season for him. Or who are these Warriors? Who are they? Let's go to Nick in San Jose. What's happening, Nick? You're on the roast.
Hey, guys. I'm trying to be positive today, and you guys are right. We got growth with the Santa Clara kid in Pods. Jackson-Davis is just fledgling into a very serviceable player. But it comes down to our big four. And I love Klay, but he's a diminishing asset on defense and even shooting the ball. And you know what? Wiggins didn't come into shape this year. He is a dog, and I don't mean dog in the sense that a pit bull like Young Glove. I'm going to try and hopefully just enjoy this playoff run, but if we continue this with Wiggins, we need to get rid of him, guys, because he just floats, and he just doesn't have the fire in him, bro. And I usually am passionate. I'm kind of just numb to this all. So the last two, I have 2 questions for you guys. How could we be under 500 at the Chase Center? When I watch it on TV, and I've been to a few games this year, I just don't feel the energy, even 1/2 of what it used to be in Oakland. And I know we can't go back there, but that's number one. Number 2, all these coaches on the bench, and they don't double Brunson till the end of the game. Let someone else beat you besides Brunson. That should be on the chalkboard in the beginning of the game. I don't get it. Help me with that, guys. And then number 3, Draymond Green is an asset we need. How can he in his 10th or 11th year not shoot the ball still? We're a 45-6 win team. Please answer those 2 questions. Please. Thank you.
Okay, Chase Center. And you are much more of an expert at Chase Center than I. But I didn't hear anybody complain about Chase Center when they won the championship at Chase Center, essentially, during a deep playoff run. Also, the team comes out flat and is in a 10-point hole before the game even starts.
It's 18-4. So you've already turned the ball over 5 times.
I was at the playoff game last year against the Kings, and they came out flat.
Right.
Oh,
was that game 6?
Game 6 with my brother.
They
flat.
got blown up.
And the crowd is dying for you to do anything to get us excited. And it's like, we could blame the crowd all we want. The crowd's not getting paid to show up. In fact, the crowd is paying because they're dying to get involved.
Yeah,
I'm just giving you my perspective.
Yeah, no, I was there yesterday, and look, you got to get over it. If they would have got a lead yesterday, that place would have erupted. They wanted to get crazy. They wanted to get loud. And my mom was dancing next to me, waiting to get loud and stand up the whole game. She was standing up. She was trying to stand up the whole game. But you got to get a crowd to something to cheer about. So I'm with you. Nobody said anything during the championship year about Chase Center. Nobody said anything last year when the Golden State Warriors, I believe, went 31-10 at home. Was it 31-10 or 30-11? They had those numbers mixed up. But they were fine at home last year. They were fine in Game 4.
To me,
but you got to give the crowd something to cheer about. And
yes.
too many times this season, they either blown leads, which has sucked the air out of the crowd, before you get to how many 15-point leads have they blown at home? You know,
a gazillion.
So I don't blame the crowd. Now, what was Nick's second point?
Well,
what was the second one?
Draymond scoring.
Draymond scoring. Well, again, you got to know this. When you have Steph, and later on when you have Clay, and when you have Kuminga, who's now a threat scoring and going to the basket, who are they going to leave open?
Did Kuminga play late in the game?
I think it was bitch for a lot. He didn't crash the glass.
He didn't have a great game.
Best.
No, he
was
did not have a great
7-13,
game.
Turned the ball over twice.
Yeah, but it's not like Wiggins was tearing it up.
Yeah, no, he's still pumped in 16, but he only had 1 rebound. The Knicks did a great job of keeping him off the glass. Knicks rebound the Warriors by 5. Josh Hart was everywhere in 48 minutes. But Draymond Green, knowing that, look, Draymond's having a very good year offensively, especially by his standards. Shooting the ball well, the efficiency's there.
There was a play.
But it's still, he's going to be open. And when he goes 1-7, and when he was wide open right under the hoop and he fumbled the ball right in front of me, right there with the turnovers, Draymond just one of those nights. One of those nights, he didn't have it. And yes, even moving forward, as he ages with the Golden State Warriors, guess who's going to be open? It's going to be Draymond Green.
3 more years after this?
2 with a player option.
Well, there was a play where Kuminga, it looked like had a one-on-one in the paint, and Draymond gave him throw me the ball out to the 3 for a top-of-the-key 3, and he missed it, and then everyone was just deflated. And Kuminga got yanked almost immediately after that. And I'm like, how's that on Kuminga?
Draymond shot a quarter 3 in that fourth, and it barely hit the front. It barely hit the rim. And so that's the shot where
that's the Bruce Bowen. Bruce Bowen added that element. Yes.
It's going to be wide open. It is what it is when you play that lineup.
GP2, who hasn't been great, has nailed that corner 3 more than I expected him to this year. I don't know what the advanced numbers are. I'm going eyeball.
Right.
I feel like he is doing a better job on that catch and shoot from the corner 3.
But even looking at the Knicks, right, and they're starting 5. Josh Hart was 0 for 6 on the 3-point shot, but he's not scared to take it. Dante DiVincenzo's leading the league, I believe, in 3-point percentage. He's right there in the top 5.
Wow.
Hartenstein 6-7. So you need threats offensively. You just do. You do. And so that's I don't know, Nick. I don't know why Draymond's not shooting that shot. When he does, the Warriors are so much better when he is scoring and when he is taking that shot. But it wasn't there last night and the Warriors lose. The Warriors lose and the Knicks, they muck it up. They led wire to wire and the Warriors lose their 18th. 18th home game this season.
The lack of sense of urgency, specifically at home, to start games from recently, because it's something I've been trying to pick up on.
Yeah,
that's the most frustrating thing, and that is not crowd related. That is player related.
Right.
The combinations, the actual players going out there. There's a lethargicness, and I don't even know if that's a word, from the veterans that kind of is driving me crazy.
So if the Warriors want to go wherever they want to go to, by the way, DiVincenzo 11th in the league and made threes per game, making over 3.
And he wasn't a great 3-point shooter until the Warriors got him?
Yeah, he was very inconsistent. And then with the Warriors and getting around Stephen Curry, he did get a lot better.
I know
he's shooting 40% from 3.
What's our buddy Slater put out an article last year about the shooting guy who worked with him.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's shooting 40% from 3. 40% from 3. So